Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry, I'm just a couple minutes late here. Thank you for being patient and waiting on me here. But let's look and see what happened during lunch. Looks like during lunch, right as lunch was starting, it was a new 1 hour fair value gap confirmed. So between 10 and 12, we had a fair value gap confirmed on the 1 hour. Just after lunch, we had a tap into that area and then a sell off. The sell off took us down to another 1 hour fair value gap, uh, but also to the low from April 11th. So before, early this morning, I don't know how many of you were on at the very beginning when I started talking about where price may go for the day, but we did look at the equal lows on the weekly, or I mentioned the equal lows on the weekly, which also translates to the daily if you've been looking at the daily candles. And so what it looks like we've done is we've at least swept Friday and Thursday's low. If we make it to Wednesday's low, that's when we get to where the equal lows were for the weekly timetable. So it was last Wednesday, and then it was a couple times the week before. The low was right around 18055. So we're really close to that, and we can see because I didn't remove those from my chart, so we still have April 10th, and I believe it's April 5th that we're looking at. That is correct. So we have April 5th low and April 10th. So we'll see if price wants to trade down to those levels. But so far, we've traded to Friday and last Thursday, April 11th. So now that we've mentioned that, I'll drop it off the screen. We are below the new week opening gap, lime green area. We'll get rid of this breaker because it was, although it was confirmed, it failed. Robin, JR, J Stores, Richard, good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry, good afternoon. Let me go. We just finished the macro, but let's just look at a lower time frame and see if during the macro anything occurred. Looks like on the 1 minute we had a change in market structure here. We swept the high. We also swept these equal highs, closing above, traded back down into. Here's a fair value gap here. So we'll see if price wants to pick up out of this hourly fair value gap. Now that we've seen a market structure shift on a really low time frame. The Discord link is not working. That's weird. Okay. I do know there's some members who had an issue getting into the Discord, but I don't think it's anything on my end. I think it was maybe a security setting on their side. But I'll look into it and I'll look and see what's going on. But seems like some have been able to get into the Discord this morning, as far as signing up as a new member. All right, let's move these macro markings. We're just starting a new session. Let's take a look and see where the dollar is trading currently, as well as the other indices. Here we go. All right, this is the hourly time frame we're looking at. So we did have a swing high from Friday that was broken several times this morning. 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock finally broke through and traded above. We then had the 11 o'clock hour trade lower, closing back below where the swing high was. Drop that. But now we see during the lunch hour, and then so far the beginning of this hour, we see price starting to trade upwards once again, at least to the consequent encroachment of this down candle. So let's just take a look at the range of the down candle. All right, so now we've traded back up to consequent encroachment. And so what's important here is to see whether price will want to continue to trade above and close above here, or whether we'll get a failure at this consequent encroachment and we'll start looking for the low that was created during lunch. We start looking for the low created during lunch, then I would expect the indices to then buy up back into these bearish fair value gaps that was created before lunch. Outside of that, if we still see the dollar pushing towards these equal highs, which is probably more likely, um, then these equal lows that we see here on the Dow will be in play. We have a relative equal low here on the S&P, and we've already swept that on Nasdaq. So Nasdaq right now is currently showing as the weakest of the three pairs, already sweeping out of. Okay, it looks like Friday's low. Yep, Friday's low just now getting taken by S&P, but it's been taken by Nasdaq during the lunch, and the Dow is still holding to the low from Friday. But if you remember, Nasdaq was the strongest on Friday, so naturally it had the highest of the lows, so it was easier to break the low from Nasdaq than it was on the others because of Friday's price action. Um, but we don't want to take anything away. It is sweeping lows at a quicker rate than we're seeing on S&P. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of these levels that have already been traded to. All right, we'll get back over to NQ. So the low of the 10th. Remember, we're getting down to those equal lows on the weekly. That's going to be the low of the 10th, as well as the 5th and the 4th. All right, so the 10th and the 5th has already been swept. I believe the 4th and 5th were about the same. So all three have now been swept. Now let's see how price reacts, whether it wants to continue lower. We have a March 18th level. And that's at 18,006. $115 smashed during lunch. That it was around right around 12:30. Yep, right here. Hey, Vivian. Good afternoon. Yep, currently looking at a 4-hour range of about 300-point drop, and that's since 10 o'clock. Right at the 8:30 open. All right. Well, Khalid, one more question. You say you don't hold the winners long enough. Do you have situations where you hold winners that come all the way back to your origin price to where they turn into break evens, because that's the alternative if you hold too long. I think what you need to find, instead of trying to grab the maximum out of the market at all times, which, I mean, naturally that's what everybody wants to do, find yourself a point to where you believe price is going to go, and if it gets there, you've won the trade. If it continues to go, that's not part of your analysis. So don't let that beat you up too much. Just win the trade that you originally entered on. Be happy with that. Reach your daily goal and move on to the next trade. Hey Ray, good afternoon. Math Genius, price approaching the 1 hour bullish breaker. Okay. Let's see. So there's March 18th low, now gone. We're getting really close to where the previous all-time high was back in 2021. Obviously, the number back in 2021 wasn't this high, but if you adjust it for each quarterly contract, looking at the June contract that we're in right now, you go back and look at 2021 and see where that level was. It's at 17, I think it's 950, I believe. 17,957. 17,957. Right. We go back here on the weekly. Oh, it's not going to show that. We need to. Have to go to the continuous contract. We go in with the weekly. All-time high over here, November of 2021. Little wick right there. Oops. Let's move it. There we go. 17,956, 957. So we're definitely in that area right now. In fact, we just passed it. So Guess I'm a little late on my speech there, but so we've now reached the what was originally the all-time high, and so now we see where price is trading. We've made it all the way back down. But to be honest, price really hasn't made a lot of highs recently, a lot of new all-time highs. Even if it did make an pierce the previous all-time high, it would do it with a wick and then retrace back inside. We go back to when we were looking at the daily candle. It's just been consolidating now for a little over 3 weeks. Take that back, a little over 6 weeks. It's just been consolidating. So price really hasn't been willing to make a new high, and it's been looking for those lows, but it's been delayed. And maybe now is when it's happening. Let me go back to my weekend markup to see what I was thinking about NQ. All right, so I had price retrace into the previous all-time high, which is where we are now, 17,957. And I was looking for price to then do a reaction. If there is no bullish reaction, then I have as potentially as low as 17,400. Now, granted, there's a lot of play in between where we are now, and that's about 500 points. So there's going to be some other PD arrays to march into before we get there. But if price continues lower, I have it going down to somewhere around 17,400, potentially on the weekly time frame. The last time we were down here, February the 21st, last time we were down in this area. Yeah, me too, Queen. I am happy we're breaking out of this range. At least we'll have some other PD arrays to move into as opposed to just back and forth action. Kobe, too late. I've already done that. That was was 15 minutes ago or so. Yeah, let's take a quick look at the 4 hour. So on the 4-hour, we were sitting in the middle of a bullish fair value gap. Trying to see where it came from originally. Actually, to get back, it was a daily fair value gap I was looking at. Sure, this 1 hour busy probably won't stand. All right, so we'll put those as our two levels, and that takes us down to 17,750. Had a feeling we was going to have a good sell-off, especially since we only had the New York session high as our remaining session high or low that hadn't been traded to. All right, so now we're at, you know what? We got to put in our lunchtime session high and low. So this was the low. Clearly, it was taken immediately at 1:30. And our high sits up here by the midnight open. We've seen price now since the opening of our afternoon session drop about 200 points in 30 minutes. Exactly. It's like there's nothing necessarily that pushed the market. It was just time. If you look at where there was a bullish fair value gap that it had tapped, I don't know, 3 or 4 times on the 4-hour over the last 2 weeks, where each time it pushed it higher, but it didn't make a new high. So eventually that support was going to fail, and this is the time for that to fail. So it was just time. Israel, Iran. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I figured it would go in reverse, not necessarily 250 points in reverse. I just thought maybe to go back and sweep that low or something. Um, yeah, you're right. The dollar is bullish. I was looking at it just a second ago, and it really hadn't made. Yeah, so it hasn't done a whole lot this hour. Nowhere near what the indices are doing. So the dollar is just kind of trading in its zone, not really doing much. But the indices are definitely reeling right now, reaching for lows, sweeping higher time frame lows. Yep. So now we have officially flipped over to bearish on the daily time frame. I think it was slightly bearish before, but now it's officially definitely bearish now. We'll see where it closes by the end of the day if it reaches back above 18,000. 5 more minutes, and then we have the next macro period starting, the 150 to 210 macro. Drop this down here. Watch the lower time frame to see if we get any market structure shifts or any impulsive action here. Oh, Karan, welcome back. Good afternoon. I don't think that's correct, Milad. You say the regular trading hour gap is still open? You must be talking about a regular trading hour gap from last week, not the one from today. The one from today is completely filled in. Oh, last Friday? Okay. Yeah, we got a long ways to get there. You're talking 400 or 500 points. All right, it's 150 now. Let's see how price reacts to being in this fair value gap and during the macro time. We had a recent liquidity sweep from right here, pushing this one. And let's see now if price wants to build out of that or if it's going to continue lower. Kalis or Callus. Sorry, I don't look at gold. We look at the indices futures here. If you want to check out S&P, let me know. But as far as gold, no, I'll leave that for you to check out on your own. Yeah, you're right, Ray. We have on the daily, we have those equal lows right at, what is it, 18050 ish, somewhere in that range. Yep, 18053, somewhere around in that area. We touched down there 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Sniper, I'm not sure. Not sure if anyone's in any trades. I'm sure somebody was in on the short on his way down. Well, several people were in on the short. I'm not sure if they still have open positions now. Invest, are you in a short? Third candle and it took. Okay. All right. All right. Here on the low time frame, we've seen a sweep of this level after sweeping this low. So we took a low, then we took a high. Let's see, it closed above, which is a good sign. And we're not out of the woods yet, but that's a good sign. Fair value got traded into here on the 1 minute frame during the macro. Let's see if there's any type of price reaction or if it's just going to trade right through it on its way to lower prices as it's just a continuation move. Yep, hasn't been any displacement just yet. Any silver bullet traders? It's now past 2 o'clock, so it's been almost 5 minutes into the 2 o'clock hour. So you should be looking for your setup during this hour. We'll have to wait and see how this cluster performs, whether you're going to be looking for a bullish or bearish move. Looks like the past couple minutes, at least, we've got some bullish candles to push price out of the fair value gap. Potentially, we could be retracing up to the previous fair value gap, which honestly, I don't think it exists anymore because it's been past an hour. All right, so this one is nullified. So it's just the one below that we're currently in. That is a fair value gap at the moment. Yep, definitely, Ray. Yeah, well, clearly we're extremely bearish this morning and afternoon. So this full day we've been very bearish. So if you are going to take a long, what Ray is meaning is look for something local as far as targets. Whether you want to go for a recent swing high of like equal highs here at 949, whether you want to target a fair value gap, a bearish one that's just above to where price may trade to and then seek lower. Just be careful and be nimble when you're looking for your target setting, so you're not always looking for long-term swings to be taken that may require 75 or 100 points just to cover that distance. Let me go ahead and take another look and see where the dollar is trading. Yeah, so the dollar is still slightly bullish, but very small range. So it's not really doing a whole lot. Just like the last hour, or even since lunch, it still hasn't taken the lows from the pre-lunch area. I'm sorry, not the lows, the highs from pre-lunch. And so that's how small the range has been for the dollar, even though it's still bullish. However, on the indices, we saw a big range after the lunch hour, almost 250 points down. Let's get back up to the 5 minute here. Let's go ahead and stretch these out. See if this 1 hour BISI holds up for the hour. The macro is now over. It looks like there was not a market structure shift or anything to the upside. So like price now wants to sweep these lows and continue lower. All right, there's a new low there. New low for the hour and for the afternoon. So we have a lunch high and we have a New York high still as the two session highs that are two session extremes that are still valid. Consequent encroachment of this BISI is 17,833. All right, Sony Mix, good luck on your trade. Oh, I'm sorry, not you. Sniper, good luck on your trade. Mm, yeah, I guess we could see this as a breaker here. That's cool there, Brad. Out at the same spot, the consequent encroachment there. Reversal manipulation leg as well as the breaker. Yeah, coin. I would say we are likely to get this level down here, only because it just, if you start looking at the levels on the way down, it looks like we have at least one more to go. But we'll see. And that also could be when this low right here gets swept. That people might believe is the low before pushing back upwards. It'll be nice for it to just kind of play around and then come down, sweep that low, and then move up. Possibly during the next macro period. Um, Only thing is about 30 minutes away from now. So that means price would basically do this sideways dance for the next 30 minutes, which that may not happen. Robin, the current hourly fair value gap that it's in right now is from February 21st. Are you looking for a bearish fair value gap? Oh, I think she's talking about this one above. At 18,130 that was created at during the lunch hour. Mm. Oh, yes. So Robin, you have your fair value gap indicator on. It basically starts creating as soon as the hour starts, as instead of waiting for it to confirm. So at the end of this hour, yes, there will be a new bearish fair value gap confirmed, unless price buys up. That's going to be in this area right here. So from 1300 down to 2 o'clock, this area in here, if it's not filled in during this hour, this will become a new bearish fair value gap. So you are correct in that. Yep. Oh, okay, Robin. Yeah, let me show you how to change the settings there. So it's right here with SVG settings. It says wait for candle close to identify. Just check that box right there. Yep. So if we consider lunch to be 12 until 1:30, we had 300 plus points during lunch. And since 1:30, this. So not a whole lot here. Just got to be patient. Maybe right around 3 o'clock is maybe when we'll see either a continuation or a reversal here. But until then, try not to get chopped up. Hello, Anderson, and welcome back. Good afternoon. Which levels are you looking at, Banana Theory? Which levels below are you looking for price to trade to? Oh, okay. No problem. On counter trend. All right, Sniper. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. Banana Theory. Yes, I have taken a couple. I have. Currently in a long at 17,895. We'll see how that fares. Yep. Yeah, I'm hoping to get an exit at 935, so we'll see if it makes it that high. But due to it being a bearish day, I'm already at stop at break even, so we'll just see if it works out or not. That's one of them. I'll just let the other one run and see what happens. Invest. It depends on the setup. So it depends on where you find that your trade setup would invalidate. So based on what you see, where would you say, all right, if it gets to here or if it gets to here, then the trade is invalidated. That's where your stop loss should be. If you put it at a predetermined level, like a certain point, I put it at 5, I put it at 10. Yeah, you run the risk of losing a trade that's still a winning trade just based on maybe having a bad entry. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. 871. Okay, nice. Yeah, I took the 1 minute breaker, which I know is low probability or definitely lower probability, but that's how I ended up getting in. So it ended up being 20. This cluster of candles here before the sweep lower. And then there's also a bullish fair value gap given the unicorn setup. So I end up entering somewhere right around here. Oops, over here. Yep. I have my runner just before the highs here, before these equal highs, right around the 940, yeah, 946. All right, Sat, you'll see tomorrow. Take care. Mm, got it. Okay, so this was this was silver bullet. Yeah, probably so. And you would have aimed for these equal highs. That would have been the silver bullet exit. Entered 895, out at 935. So essentially the trade that I had set up, except I took it as a breaker, but yeah. Right on the sweep here. Okay, sweep. Wow. And we have a trade all the way back down to the breaker here. Not sure it's going to deliver twice. Mm. Okay, invest. I'm not sure if you heard the rest of what I said. All I was saying was that I usually put the stop loss where the trade invalidates itself. Um, anywhere shorter than that, I end up losing the trade, even though it could be a winning trade. And so you end up being upset about essentially being cheap and losing the trade because of it. So, I try to put them where the trade invalidates itself. And if that's too large of a range, then I adjust my entry. And if it doesn't come to where I need to enter, then there's no trade for me. Okay, so this is where a 5-minute breaker would confirm if we got a trade above and a closure. Yep, appreciate that, Ray. You're right about that. And I also appreciate your warnings and your reminders on those type of lessons, because sometimes they can get lost where you look at a reversal and you think a reversal is going all the way back to the extreme of the range. In a lot of cases, that's not what it does. It's merely a retracement in the form of a reversal, because it needs to reverse in order to retrace. Um, but the target could be very localized. I have this box marked up here as we look for potentially a 5-minute breaker to form. But of course, we'll need it to trade above 935 and close above on this 5-minute time frame. But keep in mind, we still have not reached consequent encroachment of the 1 hour BISI. So that is still in play as well. So we could see price breakdown sweeping these equal lows, getting into this area, and then potentially building out of it, with this being an easy target. 937. If we can get an entry somewhere down here, you could still be talking about 80, 90, 100 points. Mm, yeah, possible. Sniper, you're right. It's possible. I'm looking at the weekly. We have the big weekly wick from the week of February 20th, down at 17,995. So, oops, sorry, maybe I'm looking at 17,795. 17,795. So about another 100 points lower than where we are now. If we can either get there this afternoon, or maybe that could be the London retracement tonight, we could see bullish prices out of that area. If not, we have a weekly BISI down at 17,661. So that could also be another area where price turns around, but that's another 200 points lower than where we are now. So that would be a decent overnight range, or maybe that could be the New York AM. And then we could see bullish prices return during the PM session. If I look now, just looking for news tomorrow, high impact news at 1:15. Powell is speaking. See, what is he talking about? Participate in a fireside chat about economic trends in North America at the Wilson Center in Washington Forum in DC. Okay. So we'll see, what Powell does tomorrow. There's some orange folders in the morning, 8:30, 9:15. And then at 1 o'clock and 1:15, we have FOMC members speaking. So, so that could definitely play into what I just said, where we have a morning trend in one direction and an afternoon trend in the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. Yeah, snipe. I used to be the same way. I would just take an entry that looked like my entry wherever it formed. Now I'm looking for some higher time frame PD array to frame my trade and tell me that that's the location that it should form. All right, so we did have a break of the swing high on this candle. However, traded back down, closed below. So in that case, feel like what we'd be looking for is a 50% retracement of this range, which we've already gotten. 50% there is at 903, 17,903. So now we'll see if price wants to build back up and sweep these highs. If not, again, the 1 hour BISI consequent encroachment level, 17,831 would be the next play or the next target. And then we could see some sort of bullish reaction. Here we are. Like I mentioned, we're getting close to sweeping these equal lows. All right. Before we get too far away from us, let's just take a look one more time here. We can see these equal highs on a dollar. Looks like they're getting ready to be swept now during this hour, or maybe early in the next hour. We have these triple highs. Looks like they're going to be taken from the US dollar. Now the question is, when it takes that high, will it continue pushing higher, or will we then see a retracement back into this into the range where the bullish fair value gap is. If that happens, then potentially we'll see price settle on a low and then start building back up, which is what we've been talking about for the last half hour or so, for price finding a consequent encroachment of the fair value gap that we're currently in, and then maybe pushing out and giving us some sort of bullish price action for a short period of time. All right, let's get back over. Okay, so we're gonna look at this as being an inversion. Hmm. And yeah, Ray, I do agree that there wasn't enough displacement. Like, you would have liked to have seen this type of candle, this first one, followed up by another one. And then maybe there's a fair value gap that it retraces into quickly, and then followed up by another one, and you break this area in a quick, timely manner, as opposed to taking your time, taking 10, 15 minutes to get up there. So we'll see how it behaves when it gets down to around 8:30, 8:30. All right. A little bit of displacement there. All right, everyone. Power hour is upon us. So now is a good time to wake up. I know the 2 o'clock hour was a bit of a sleeper there, but let's see if the next hour can give us a little jolt of energy. Maybe maybe a good entry or two and some displacement. All right, so the last hour on the dollar, it did not take those triple highs. It got really close, but now we have four equal highs now, and price is very near to them. So I'm expecting during the next 10 to 15 minutes for the dollar to eclipse those equal highs, and then we'll see how it reacts at that point. But right now, it's too close to it and too high not to sweep those levels. All right, so far this inverted fair value gap is holding up. It was a bullish fair value gap until invalidated during this price leg down. We kept it there as showing it could become an inverted where price would trade back to it and it would find resistance and push away from it. So far it hasn't pushed away, but we do not have a close above. I think that was Ray who said consequent encroachment is likely to hold price lower. 851. Okay. Well, not too far away from that sniper. Yeah, between Friday's daily candle and today's daily candle, that's quite a range. We're down from 18,500 down to 17,800, almost 850. So you're talking 650 points in 2 days. Okay, so we see we've now swept lows, taking liquidity once again, and moving ever so closer to the consequent encroachment of fair value gap. Although we're still about 35 points away. We'll see if 17,856 is going to be eclipsed, where the price continues to push lower. All right, we've gotten consecutive rejection candles here trying to make new highs. They continue to get rejected. And the macro is actually running out now. So I'm going to go back up to the 5 minute and we'll watch the next 30 minutes or so from this time frame. Solid, good job. Glad you were able to catch a winning trade. Daily volume imbalance. Let me check that out. Isn't quite aware. Oh, okay, I see where we are. Um, okay, no, I don't see the one that we're currently in. Let me find it. I see one below us that came from January 29th and 31st, or 29th and 30th, it looks like. That's down at 17,718. But before that, okay, I see. I see where it is. February 1st and February 2nd. All right, so we didn't get a confirmation of the breaker on the last go. It broke it, but it didn't put a body above, and then it's now swept those equal lows. So let's see if we can't refine what the breaker area should look like. On the weekly, am I seeing any support? There are areas, for sure. There are areas as where we sit right now. There's a volume imbalance on the daily. Someone else already called that out. Um, on the weekly, we have a consequent encroachment of a down wick at 17,788. So that's possibly an area that it could go to. We still haven't made it to the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap that we're trading inside of right now. That's really where we've been waiting for price to trade to and then see a reaction. All right, so we've now finally swept the low from about 10 minutes ago. Let's see now if we make it down to 835 and then what that reaction looks like. All right, so we have 835 and then 780 are the next two levels. I'm looking to see how price reacts. If there's going to be some sort of turnaround or if it's going to continue lower. The last 2 hours of trading has not been sort of your cup of tea, or you've been a little lost in price action. Don't feel bad. You can see that entire range is right here, so it's not like there's a big range or there was a lot of areas for you to get in and out of. Mostly what you see are small candle bodies, equal size wicks, meaning there's a lot of retracements. So there's a lot of pushing and then pulling, pushing and pulling. And because of it, it's the ability to chop you up is pretty, it's improved. I mean, it's increased the ability to chop you up. So if any of you have been staying out of trading in the last couple hours and you just haven't really seen your setup, then you actually did a good job in preserving capital and not getting chopped up in this. Because price hadn't really wanted to move anywhere since about 1:30. When we got down to 17,900, you can see now it's taking 2 hours to do 50 points. And it went down, back up, and then down. All right, let me take this 5 minute, what I thought was going to be a breaker. Let's go and reset that down here now. All right, we just had a 20.1 minute candle. And now looks like possibly a follow-up to that candle. All right, so the dollar finally did take out those equal highs, those four equal highs that it's made over the last 5 hours, and it's slightly retracing, not a lot, but it's no longer showing a bullish candle. That's good. We need to continue to watch it and make sure that it's not continuing bullish. Right? But we are in power hour, so we're in the final hour of trading today, so there's not a lot of time to be playing around if price wants to get to a certain level. We'll likely see that happen in the next 40 minutes if it's going to happen. And look at that. About another minute, and this 5 minute candle will close. I don't expect this inverted fair value gap to hold. Let's take a look at the dollar for the final time this afternoon, just so we all understand what's happening here. So these were the quadruple highs I was talking about here on the far left. We saw the dollar trade up this hour, take it, and then it started to pull back in on itself. And right now it's not showing a candle body, and it's been sitting this way for the last 4 or 5 minutes. So it's not even making any progress. Looks like maybe the dollar stopped trading for the day, or at least that's the way it looks. I just want to make sure everyone was clear, and aware of what just happened there. And now we'll see what the next 40 minutes has for our indices here. Yeah, nice one, Anderson. All right, let's see if in 3 minutes the bar is still above the breaker. Let's see if we get a close above. All right, another 30 seconds. Mm. 2 seconds before it retraces back in. How nice. You know what? Let me pull over to ES. Let's see if ES is doing the exact same thing that we have over here. All right, it's about the same. We go in for this, and we go in for this. All right, so we got a breaker. We have our manipulation leg down. We've already traded back into half of that. So I feel good there. It's just the breaker closing above the breaker, trading back into it and out. Let's go to the 3 minute maybe. All right, so it's about the same size on the breaker, manipulation leg the same. The difference is we do have a fair value gap for a unicorn setup here on the 3 minute for ES. Now, well, we've gotten a confirmation here too. Retracement back in. Let's check NQ on the 3-minute and see if we got the same. Yeah, NQ, we did get a trade above and we got unicorn set up. This little test above us though is inverted fair value gap. Okay, let's check the Dow. Here on the 3-minute. Oops. So Dow would have this. This would be the breaker. All right, so we did not get a trade back to half of the manipulation. We did get a trade above and close for the breaker and a trade back through the fair value gap here on the Dow. Dow has been the strongest of the three this morning after being the weakest of the three last week. Let's get back to yes. All right, not really doing a whole lot. And then NQ being the weakest of the three. Let's see how that's performing. All right, so it is pushing out of the range a little bit, but the inverted fair value gap above is still holding. I mentioned I didn't expect it to hold because I was thinking the price would want to break for these highs, so that would invalidate what's in front of us. Still expecting it to fall, but we're getting down to crunch time here. It's 3:40. Got about another 30 minutes of trading for prop firms. Yeah, invest. What do you think is the issue with your execution? Is it mistakes you're making, or is price just not moving the direction that you are anticipating? Anderson, true. Yeah, you never fight the trend. It's not that you don't go against the trend, but yeah, I wouldn't fight it. I mean, if it's taking too long to set up, or the setup is just not the way that you envision them to be, or if it's not your A plus setup, then maybe it's not worth taking. And we do have in about 9 minutes macro coming. Usually the macro, especially this time, will spend its 20 minutes running to a particular liquidity target. Whether that's above or below, we do have relative equal highs and lows. I'll point that out so we all can see. So we have equal lows here, equal highs, relative equal highs up here. We had a sweep of highs, but not a dominant push through with a close or candle body of any kind. We also have equal highs here, around 950, 938 to 950. I'll mark them both actually. and you can choose whichever exit you like. Yeah, but offhand, we're not getting a strong push here. It would look good there. This one also looked decent, but the fact that it's pulling back again and only made a small jump here, that's concerning. Trend line liquidity looks like it's about to be snatched. We had this sort of situation here. Oh, I see. Yep, Anderson, and those are the kind of decisions you have to make where you say, you know what, that stop loss is too big for me, so I'm not going to enter this trade, or I'm only going to enter if it retraces at least 50% through the range. So then my stop loss can be 20 points. It's just Let me go back. Maybe I think I maybe missed it. Oh, at 321, you said it doesn't look like. Oh, I had did mine at the 309 candle. So from 306 to 312. 257. Oh, you selected this one here. Yeah. Yeah, I had taken this one. So using these four candles together, I took the low from this candle all the way until the high of this fourth candle at 312. Because we had a swing low here, and then these three candles here made a swing high there. So that's why I took those. And it was just before the last sweep down here. All right, finally, the inverse fair value gap has been traded above. And we're also inside of the macro time. Or no, I take that back. We're looking at the 3 minute. We're not quite there. The macro starts in a few seconds. Let me go to the 1 minute. All right, now we're in the macro. So we get a retracement back down. Hopefully it still keeps the breaker valid. See if this becomes a, well, we'll now call this a reclaimed fair value gap. Honestly, we can delete it because we have one right here. It's about 17 minutes left of trading. Let's see where price wants to go during this time. This actually might be where we get a failure at, since we've had our 3 drives pattern here. So sometimes what you get from here is a move down, where this could be the draw on liquidity. So just keep that in mind. The 1 minute. Yeah. I don't know. I normally see it on the 1 minute, just because it's pretty easy to notice, like the trend line on such a low time frame. But I would imagine it probably works on all frames. I haven't back tested. I haven't looked for it. $17,905 to see if price trades above that. And we're getting close to the end here. It's 3:58. About 12 minutes left of trading today. Looks like Power Hour gave us a range of about 50 points, from 850 up to 900. close, just in case it's going to run down and take out the trend line liquidity I was talking about earlier. 866, 856, and 841. So it's about a 25-point range from the top all the way to the third one. Short at 882. All right, good luck on that. You're already up about 20 points, it looks like. And see if it at least closes in the gap right here, or if it rejects out of it. All right, looks like the range of price is starting to slow down and get a bit smaller here as we get close to the closing bell here. So I just want to open the floor for any final questions or comments or anything that anyone has for me. Now let's go ahead and take care of that now before we end the session this afternoon. If you are dropping and saying goodbye, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. If you have not subscribed yet, not sure what's holding you back, but consider subscribing. Make sure you get invitations and reminders for the live sessions that we hold. All right, Lute, I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good evening. Hope, yes, I trade off screen. I didn't trade on screen today. So yes, I did. I had several trades, but I did them off screen. So what I do here is I show you what's presenting itself in the market to tell you what I see, but I don't necessarily show you my trade. All right, Karan, catch you on the next one. All right, Richard, catch you on the next one. Definitely, Queen. Catch you tomorrow. Good luck on London tonight. We need to trade with you. Hope, I will take some trades on screen, but I'm not going to take all of them. And as you saw today, there wasn't a lot to really talk about, especially this afternoon. There was the price leg down from 1 o'clock until around 1:30, but after 1:30, there really hasn't really been a good setup presented. I've been marking them up as I see them, but as you probably heard me, I was looking for breakers to confirm, and they didn't confirm themselves until very, very late. And then it wasn't on the 5 minute; it was on the 3 minute and the 1 minute. So this afternoon wasn't really optimal trade conditions for the setup I was looking for. But there were other trades that could have been taken with different setups. It's just not the one that I was looking for. I mean, and I will take some trades, but what's important really is that you recognize the deficiencies in your own trading, and you use this time in the room to ask all the questions you need to feel more comfortable with what you see. And we're happy to help you. So if you have any questions about what the candles are doing, or what the charts are doing, and you just need some help, just let us know. We're always here to help. But I do discourage copy trading, just as a principle, and any trader would, just because we're not licensed to get you in and out of trades. But what we do want to do is to spread the knowledge, and any type of knowledge or experience that I've gained through trading or through backtesting, I'm more than happy to share with you. But like now, here we are. I asked for any final questions or comments, and there's crickets. So there's no one really asking questions, or not many people asking questions. Hmm. All right, all. I think this is going to do it. So this will close out our afternoon session. Again, hit the like button on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Hit the subscribe button, make sure notifications are on. And every morning, afternoon, you'll get You'll get an invitation as well as a reminder if you forget, and we've already gone live. So with that, take care, everyone. Have a good evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning.